So tonight, from wherever Ray Norcross is at this moment in time, somewhere in Kentucky, probably. He just started his podcast, Bearding Without Borders. We're going to bring him on and talk about it. Super easy. Nothing to, no dates to remember or anything tonight, Scott. It's pretty simple. So here it is. Ray Norcross. What's up, buddy?
What's up, guys? How are you tonight?
Excellent. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. And just for the record, it wasn't entirely my fault of why you guys had late prep time.
100% your fault. 100%. We've already said it, Ray. There's no backing out now.
Oh, I mean, if it's on the internet, then it must be true.
That's true. So. Yep, and we definitely put it on the internet. So where are you coming from tonight? Where are you at?
So I live in Lexington, Kentucky. Actually, it was I've been all over the place here lately. What's up, Yukon? But the home base is in Lexington, so I'm actually kind of just chilling out here at the house. It's been a busy week already for me as well, with the Independent Order of Odd Fellows. Yet my wife was even agreeing with you guys that it was my fault. So
3 against 1.
That's it, right? It's definitely
the population against me, so it's okay. I'll just take the blame. So
that's it. So most importantly, how close do you live to Rupp Arena?
To Rupp, I'm less than 5 minutes.
That's amazing. That's where the Kentucky Wildcats play, Scott Sykora.
Oh, Roll Tide. Roll Tide.
Exactly. The Roll Tide of basketball.
That's basically. Right, man. We love that. They got a really good lacrosse team.
They do.
I'll tell you what. I've made a few UK fans mad.
Why?
Well,
you don't like Louisville,
obviously.
Do you?
No, I'm a Florida fan.
Louisville.
Sorry.
Don't cuss like that, Scott.
Oh.
What did you say you were, Ray?
I am a Florida fan.
Why?
Because that's where I'm from. So
he likes states that are hit by hurricanes. He's a fan of that.
He's a
Miami
big alligator. He loves alligators.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So,
but see that movie about your football team tonight, maybe.
That'd be fun.
Bye-bye. It is. Isn't that what it's called? Oh, Natalie said it was Lyle Crocodile. I guess I was wrong. It's not Bye-Bye Crocodile.
Is that a Disney movie?
I don't know. I think so, probably. I'm just saying words.
Disney owns everything.
So, Ray,
I mean, Deadpool's a Disney princess now.
Deadpool is technically a Disney movie now. How about that?
Yeah.
Kyle Waller says, live by the axe. And apparently you're supposed to finish that
Die by the axe.
By saying, yes, dye your hair by the axe. So
dye your hair by the axe.
Wow. You're supposed to use that Axe body spray and just saturate it till it just turns like white.
Be the Santa.
That's right.
That's be a frat boy Santa, just cover yourself in Axe body spray.
There you go.
All right.
Says Ray Norcross. Go ahead, Scott.
Who is Ray Norcross?
It's funny when Aaron hit me up earlier and asked me for a bio, like I had no idea what to put in there. Simply enough, like I'm a member of Mad Viking Beer Club in Kentucky, have been for almost 5 years now. That was kind of my first real jump into the bearding community. Didn't really do any of the competitions or anything like that. It was more about just doing the charity work. I come from a long line for charity. I've been working with the Independent Order of Odd Fellows now for almost a decade.
What is that?
Yeah,
exactly?
Tell us what that is.
So the Independent Order of Odd Fellows is a fraternal order, kind of like a secret society. We are very similar to the Freemasons, but we consider ourselves a little more blue collar. Our focus is a lot more on the community versus kind of some more of the national picture. So we do a lot of work with our Ronald McDonald House that's local here to Lexington. We've helped out with the water issues with Matt, actually in conjunction with Mad Viking Beer Club in Kentucky out in Inez, Kentucky. We do a lot of programs for homeless. We're actually getting ready to start a whole new program for a coat drive for the homeless for next year. We're going to go ahead and get everything pulled together for the winter.
Is that
and we're doing that
there in Lexington for that coat drive, or
Actually, no, we're going to be partnering with, of course, Mad Viking Beer Club of Kentucky. The hope is to partner in with Lorraine Lodge, who is the Louisville Lodge, as well as Mad Viking Beer Club of Indiana and any other. And I think Beard Mob Indiana is one to jump in on that as well. And then the homeless population has really kind of soared over the last couple of years in the Louisville and Lexington areas, and we want to try to make sure that they're taken care of as best as possible. Because there is a lot of homeless veterans.
Do you guys dress like these people?
So not so much anymore. I will say that I have worn the garb at some point for ritual work and whatnot, but a lot of the times we're very blue collar, so we're kind of in jeans and a t-shirt, or a little bit dressed up. Back in the older days, like actually in like the 20s and 30s, it was a lot more of a like a black tie affair when you go to your meetings. Like the men would come in tuxes.
You should bring that back.
Bring it back.
Bring it back. When next time you go to a meeting, you need to come in a tuxedo. You can be that guy. Bring it back.
So I had Grand Lodge all this week, and I actually wore similar to what I wear for competition. Just a little more of a dressier shoe than my boots that I usually wear for competition. But we got the coolest oldest member ever. But no, it's one of the organizations that I belong to that I truly love, and I truly love what we stand for and what we do. And I wanted to take the two communities that I passionately care about, which is the bearded community and the Oddfellows community, and try to merge them together. And it's been pretty successful over the last couple of years.
You should make the Oddfellow Bearded Club of Kentucky.
The Odd Beards.
Yeah,
the Odd Beards. Look at that. So
and .com.
Yeah,
.com.
Everyone was asking about the guy in the box. What's this guy in the box? The skeleton. What's this about?
There's a skeleton in the closet. So that is a part of a secret ritual to talk about mortality. Ask them about the guy in the box. I can't go into too much detail. You would have to actually join the club to understand that. But it is one of the first actual rituals that you go through, and it talks about life and death.
That's a good one right there.
I like that. That's a little IOOOBF.
I think
after looking at that, thanks, Andrew.
Yeah, I think that's something to do with the Masons or something. I don't know. I've seen.
We are very similar.
Yeah,
we are very similar to the Freemasonry. As a matter of fact, this is a fun fact. I usually do a bearding fact, but I'll do an Oddfellow fact tonight. Since I'm on your show, is during the 1800s, mid to late 1800s, Oddfellows were actually the largest fraternal order in the world. Masonic lodges actually used to lend our Oddfellows lodges to the Masons to use for meetings.
Nice.
So Abraham Lincoln was an Oddfellow.
Did the Masons come from y'all, or did y'all?
So we were both separate. We've always been separate groups, but we have a lot of members that are both Oddfellows and Masonic.
So that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Corey says they're such nice. She must be talking about us.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys are great.
No, that's you're part of that too.
Oh, well, thank you. I tried.
So the most important question probably of the evening: how does it feel to be such good friends with Chris and Corey Wilson? How amazing is that?
It's surreal sometimes. It really is. Honestly, Chris and Corey are some of the sweetest people I've met in the bearded community. And I'm grateful to be able to not only call them friends, but to call them family. See, you've got her blushing now.
I'm blushing.
No.
That's what Corey sounds like to me.
they're wonderful people, and I'm grateful to be able to call them family. They have such great ideas, and I get random messages from time to time from Corey going, "Hey, I got an idea. What do you think of this?" And then it just kind of spirals off into something. So,
see, even Haley Norcross likes them, so that's good.
oh yes. Yeah, she thinks the world of them. She likes them more than she likes me. So,
well, I mean, can you blame her?
No, it's always my fault.
Have you met Chris and Corey Wilson, and have you met Ray Norcross?
Yeah, I think I've met him once or twice.
Checks out. So,
yeah,
I mean, Haley's got the right idea. All right, let's get into this thing. Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah. So so you started this podcast a few months ago, I'm assuming. You're a few episodes in, you're around almost 10 or so, correct?
I think we're coming up on 8 or 9 now. So yeah, I have to check that number, but
where did your desire to do a podcast come from? Where did you, I mean, were you a big fan of podcasting and you're like, yeah, this is cool. I want to kind of put a couple things that I'm into together and do a podcast about that. Talk a little bit about how you got started in it and how it developed into what you're doing now.
So kind of like you, Scott, I've been a huge fan of podcasts for a very long time. Podcasts are usually a part of my daily and weekly ritual just to kind of get me through work and whatnot. And I actually did a podcast a couple years ago. That was it was a good podcast, and it was me and 3 other friends.
The Joe Rogan podcast. Yes, we've heard of it.
You know what? I wish. I really do.
Was it called Vaping Without Borders?
No, it was called the Random Hero Podcast.
I like Vaping Without Borders.
There's all sorts of other borders one. Yeah, Birds Without Borders sounded pretty cool. So ornithology there.
Yeah, go ahead.
But no, we did a podcast called the Random Hero Podcast, and we got through about 19 episodes. It was a good time, but it really started going more towards the political side, and
that's never good.
It was fun for what it was, but it wasn't really my thing. I'm not really a political person. And so when we decided to kind of take a hiatus, it just never picked back up. And I do love those guys that I did the show with, but I'm kind of glad that we haven't went back to it just because I don't want to go the politics side. If they want to go into something else, I'd be more than happy to. But when the show ended, I really wanted to do something else. And so I started brainstorming ideas, and I have for the last, I'd say probably 2 years, just kind of bounced around with different ideas on what I wanted to do, but nothing really kind of resonated. But watching Talking Beards, and really it came down to the influence from Patrick White, aka Crayons.
Yeah, we love him.
May he rest in peace.
Yeah,
he actually had told me, because I used to talk to him every single day, and we had a conversation that he said, you've got a voice that, when you talk, people listen, because I'm typically kind of an observant person for the most part, and then I say I think everything through and then say what I need to say.
Suck it.
He's in. Like, you should. He says like he told me, he's like, you should do a show. You should do something that's going to be.
What's up, Kyle?
What's up, Kyle? Like, I'll be too. I'll say hi to Kyle too. We'll all say hi to Kyle.
And Mr. Miles good. Over here. But Patrick had told me, he's like, you should do a show, something that's going to be, kind of your own love letter to the beard community for what you want to do. And it took almost a year from his passing for me to finally just, okay, I need to do this. And I remember I actually had a conversation with Aaron for probably almost 2 hours one day before I launched the first episode.
Yeah, I was riding to Ardmore, Oklahoma, and I was like, just call me whenever, and that was it. We talked for freaking 2 hours.
Yeah. Like he's making the drive. I'm actually servicing a convenience store at the time, doing my job, and people are looking at me weird because all they see is just me, moving stuff around and talking. But
like this crazy freaking Ray Norcross guy. That's what they were all saying. I think you were actually in a couple newspapers that day. I'm pretty sure.
Probably.
Yeah, they're like
probably
freaking Ray Norcross coming in, talking to himself. That's what everybody was talking about it.
If you just put Florida man in front of that, it would make perfect sense. So
Ray Norcross, Florida man, perfect.
Yes. Wow. Says it all.
Yeah,
it's all you have to say. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
But so it was, and it was, after spending that time, because like the biggest thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to do something similar to what you guys have done, because you guys, really kind of set the landscape for a bearded podcast. But I wanted to do something that was just a little bit different. And yes, I have to give it to Scott Sykora.
It was Scott Sykora.
Thank
he
you.
He is definitely kind of the idea where I based kind of what my format was. But I wanted to make sure that I didn't step on your guys' toes when I did my show.
Yeah, that's capes.
Or your capes. Yeah,
don't
it's
step
capes
on our capes.
I would never do that.
Look at this.
We're wearing our capes for you, Ian.
Even Ian knows. He said we're super villains. He gets it.
I'm not gonna lie.
You're a hamburger, Ray Norcross. Don't even
first
say
time I saw the picture, I thought of it.
You're
I
a
immediately thought that.
Well, it was nice having you on the show tonight, Ray. Thanks. Okay.
That was pretty quick. Oh, he's back.
Man, that was fast. So
See, that's how you do it. Learn. That's how you get rid of guests. It's really fast.
I'm not allowed to have pins. I'm not allowed to have pins in my hands when I do a show anymore. So.
Hi, I'm Ray Norcross.
Hey,
this is Bearding Without Borders. That was the first episode. I was like, what are you doing?
So I was, and I'm gonna be 100% honest. I had no idea that I was doing it.
The whole episode.
Yeah, the whole intro episode. I had no idea that I was clicking the pin. And then when I posted it, my wife came to me and she goes, "What the hell were you doing?" And I said, "I don't know." What do you mean? And like as soon as she says that, Scott Turner from Beard Mob, Tennessee, is immediately in there, and he's like, "Love the episode. Please stop clicking a pin."
Hey, you can do it. You can make that you could tie that into some sort of segment on your show. You can make a little segment about, I don't know. You can do something fun with it. There's plenty of fun
Without
ideas.
Borders.
I did do something fun with it because Scott, and I'm sure you remember this, Aaron, because he did it the entire weekend for the Music City competition.
Okay.
He kept asking me, "Where's your pin?" Or he'd walk up behind me and click a pin in my ear.
I did hear him ask you where your pin was, but I didn't know what he was talking about. But that's pretty funny.
There's a good marketing idea for you. Get pens made and pass them out at events.
There you go.
I'm actually thinking about that, but there was something else that kind of came out of that because he kept doing it. I turned around and I looked, because every time he said it, I would say, "I'm pin free," and show both my hands. And I told him, I was like, "You know what?" I was like, "You made the joke. It's fine. I'm okay with it."
And then he punched Scott Turner in the face.
No.
That took a crazy turn, Ray Norcross. I can't believe you beat up Scott Turner.
Never. I'm pretty sure he'd bite me, just bite my nose off or something. He seems like he'd be one of those guys that just like kick me in the head.
I think you and Scott Turner should fight at the next Moonshine Classic.
I don't know. So.
I like this.
Or they could do totally nude thumb wrestling.
Man, why do you got to take it to that weird level? Like,
why not?
There was totally nude thumb wrestling at our event we just did this past weekend.
Why does that not surprise me?
Carolyn Brooks and Josh Barefoot Brains did totally nude thumb wrestling.
Their thumbs were totally nude.
They
weren't.
Their thumbs were totally nude for sure.
Yeah, but I did turn it into something, and I'm gonna try to get this back on track for you.
Yes.
Look at that. Good job, Ray.
Techniques, they're good. Go.
Yeah. So we created a sticker, and it's actually part of the bundle sticker that the bundle package I was telling you guys about earlier. It's called Pin Free, and the proceeds from this sticker bundle, which is $10 for all 3 stickers, it'll be the Bearding Without Borders sticker. It'll be the pin-free sticker, and then one that came out of the Michael Wallach episode. Can I say it on here?
Yeah, sure. It's fine.
It's called Cunt's Corner.
Okay.
And we're going to split the proceeds from those sticker sales between the Pennsylvania Children's Hospital for Monsters Ball, which is their charity that they choose, for Michael Wallach, and then the other one is going to go to ABR. So we're doing pre-orders on those and through the first week of November for the show.
And then you could just go to there. You go. You can just go to your Facebook page, and all the information's on there.
Yes, sir.
There it is. I like that.
But that was a fun piece, and yeah. I took the abuse from it, and I wanted to do something positive with it. So
definitely, it works.
Hey, speaking of totally nude thumb wrestling. Oh, hey. It's okay.
Hello.
We were just talking about your totally nude thumb.
Totally nude thumb, yeah.
All right, so back to Beards Without Borders.
So it's funny you say the beards, because the show is called Bearding, but the original idea was the show was going to be called.
I wrote Beards Without Borders like 3 times.
You said it a few times too.
Yeah, once I wrote it wrong the first time. Yeah, my bad.
Totally nude. It's okay. It's actually, that was originally what the name was supposed to be. But there is there you go. There's somebody that actually already has that name, and it's he has a YouTube channel, and he uses it to talk about politics and whatnot. I think he covered Worlds. I think he covered Worlds once. He basically talked about it for like 10 minutes and then went on to something else.
It is Alan. It is not yet, but I will be helping Ray get the show up on all the different platforms he can get it up on. So we'll keep you updated on that. Yes,
please. Could use all the help in the world, and I thank you guys for definitely helping me get that up there.
Oh, I mean, and that's and kind of a little bit of a backstory tied into us, and with me starting the the podcast years and years ago, and then kind of transitioning it into Talking Beards. At the same time, there had been other guys doing shows, once again, like very similar and stuff like that. They'd have guests on, they talk about competitions and stuff like that. And anytime that I'd find out about someone else doing it, I would like immediately reach out to them, and everyone would be scared, like, "Oh my God, Scott, we don't mean to be offending you." And I'm like, "No, dude." I'm like, I am absolutely here to 100% help you do whatever you need to do and what you want to do. I said, I might have like kind of been that snowplow and blazed the trail a little bit, but I'm like, if anything, the more people that we get involved in this community doing stuff like this, it's just better for everyone, because it's more ears hearing about the beard community and all the wonderful things that we're doing.
Yeah, the more people talk about it, the more people are going to know about it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it brings us more to a mainstream level when you think about it, because I get like we all have friends that are not in the bearded community, and then we share out our podcast, we share out our shows, and people go, "Oh, they're doing a show. Let me go check it out." And Wonder Twins activate. So, just think about it. We got a show on just about every single night of the week now. You got Craft Whisker or Whisker Craft Club. I always get the name mixed up there.
Yeah. So we
got them on Mondays.
Talking Beards Network. There's pretty much, except for Saturday now, there's 6 days of show.
And
then
on
Sundays, you've got the Sinning on Sundays going on now.
There you go.
Well,
so 2 shows over
there.
Yeah,
there's a lot of news I noticed, and in fact, the other night, Angela and I were watching TV, and I got an alert about another show, and we were kind of watching it, and I texted it to Aaron. I'm like, "Hey, check this show out." I'm like,
that was the Chattanooga Beard Company's show or whatever.
Yeah, and it's once again, it's very similar to their, but the thing is there's all these different shows, but they're not really having crossover guests, but I did see like Phil was on like a bunch of different shows like over the past few weeks promoting, which is great because their event's awesome. But as a lot of you saw, we covered 17 different events that are going on in October. It's like one show cannot cover all of that stuff. And
Absolutely
it's like
not.
everyone's kind of picking and pecking here and there at stuff. And it's like, that's exactly the whole purpose of wanting to have like as many different shows as possible, more people to get involved. It's like, it opens everything up. It widens the berth. It's just like more people can hear about stuff. And that's more power to anyone that's even watching or listening who wants to start a podcast or a live stream. I am more than willing to sit down and talk and help. And I mean, like Ray and I were talking before the show, and I was asking him about if he was up on Apple Podcasts yet. And he was like, no, I haven't gotten that far yet. And I'm like, whatever I can do. I mean, if I need to, and I'm offering this to you right now, if I need to do like audio editing for you to help you build your podcast, I'm more than willing to help you out and teach you. And I throw this out to anyone out there. Like if anyone wants to start a podcast, I'm more than willing to help anyone and give them all the resources and ideas and, teach them, tell them, share with them all the tips and tricks that I know, because I want everyone to be successful. Because if everyone's successful, everything all around us is going to be a greater and better place.
Oh, absolutely. And then not just that, like we're spreading the word about what we do in our community, but it also helps to put a highlight on the charities that we work with, and that's kind of the big thing that's what we do. That's the whole premise of what we do in this inside our community is, we dress up, we, like the Hamburglar or whatever, but
what's this wee stuff? Do you have a frog in your pocket? You don't look
dress
like
up like the Hamburglar. Wow. That's good to know.
You know what? I'll put it out there right now. If anybody books Aaron and Scott to do,
you're going to come as Grimace.
Job, I will come as Grimace.
I like that.
The three of us together, we could have some fun. But
see, here's another idea: baking and bearding, like as Sarah Sherman writes, and we've even joked about it with. Help me out, Aaron. Come on.
Oh, Jim Jones.
Jim Jones.
Yeah,
Jim
Jones.
Show too.
He's doing one. That was actually what I was thinking about, and he looks like he has a lot of fun with that.
Jim Jones definitely has a lot of fun with everything he does in his entire life.
Jim Jones is a very he's a legend in our community.
He's the 2022 Beardsman of the Year.
And I was so happy to be there for that, to see that. Like it was definitely well deserved. So, and I mean, Barracks Project, didn't they just put up today how much they were able to raise for the Barracks Project?
$10,000, yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Cincinnati. Somebody dropped a pen or clicked the pen when you gave the amount. What was it?
About $10,000.
Oh, all right.
It wasn't me.
Yeah, it's right there. Their club just raised over $10,000. All right, cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so back to Bearding Without Borders, not to be confused.
Hey, there we go.
When does it come on? And just tell us a little bit about what you talk about on your show.
So we're on every Thursday night at 7:00.
Okay.
Sometimes we run a little bit late, just like everybody else, but we will be doing some special times next week because I have two very special guests on for next week's show. It'll be at 7:00 on Friday for a change.
Nice.
But so the whole concept of our show is to talk about people's journey into the bearded community, why they choose the charities that they work with, and what resonates with them, what changed, what kind of changed their outlook in their perception in life with the work that they've done so far in the community, and where do they plan to go. That's kind of our whole concept is we want to tell people's story. Doesn't matter what club you're with. It doesn't matter who you necessarily affiliate to. It's you. Like, I want to talk to the individual, not to the club itself.
Hold on.
You're good. Go ahead, Frank.
You got to take on. So, but it's one of those things. I really wanted to highlight some of these people that we have in our community that they may be tied to a club, but people, when they talk to them, they go, "Oh, it's Taxi Phil from Cincinnati Beard Barons." It's like, no, that's Taxi Phil.
Right.
Like, there is so much to Taxi, and I know that you guys have probably had several conversations with him over the years.
There's a lot with that guy.
There really is, and there's a story, like just the 30 to 40-minute episode that I did with him. Like, we ended up sitting for almost 2 hours after the episode, just talking and getting all his stories. And like,
you should have just kept letting it run.
I really should have.
Yeah,
but like he didn't even go into that until we finished the episode, and then he's like, "Well, let me tell you about this time that I met, King Charles and all this other stuff." And it's just like, whoa. It's like, why did you not bring this on the show?
Well, and that's the thing, is for all the years that we've known Phil and talked to him, it's like anytime you see him and talk to him, you're unleashing a totally new story that you had no idea that was there.
And it's great, but that's the thing, is like, that's what I want to tell, is I want to tell people's story about what they're doing. And a lot of my episodes have been similar to what you guys are doing, talking about the comps, because we are in the heat of competition season.
Yeah, there's a bunch up there in that region where you are. There's been several here coming up lately, so it's not over yet. So.
Like, you guys had Beardapalooza in Texas this past weekend. We had the Peru Fall Festival Beard Bash from Beard Mob, Indiana. I think they raised a little over $2,000 this weekend, and a very small comp for their first annual comp there, and they killed it. They had a great turnout.
A lot of people that went to that thing. That was good.
So we have Ian in the chat room. Ian, what was the amount you guys raised?
Yeah, Ian, do you have a total final?
Yeah, please.
But yeah, no, I mean, and when I first started doing the podcast, that was kind of like the whole thing of like, as I started talking to people like individually, and like you'd hear so many interesting stories and so many interesting backstories about how they got involved in the bearding community and or how they got involved with the specific charity. And it was always like really good, touching stories. And it was like, it just kind of like led it where it was, I liked, at least for me, for the transformation of going from kind of like what you're doing now. And I totally love that you're focusing individually on people. Like by what we evolved to into Talking Beards, I wanted to do more like more like all around events and talk to like one person that's part of the organization of these events and stuff like that. So we get like more of a bigger picture. I like the individual, and that's what I find the difference between the podcasting compared to the live stream. The podcasting is like so much more individualized and specific, whereas the live stream, which what we do, is more of a broader, like event-based kind of thing and news. And, that's kind of like, I wanted to do a show with Aaron. I mean, and to do like an individualized interview show with one person, we could have done it, but it just would have been a little bit too chaotic. Whereas doing it in this format as a news show, it's like, it works so much better. So, I mean, someday I'll go back to doing individual interviews, but one day.
But you know what? You guys cover so much. You guys cover so much for the time slot that you have, and you guys do a great job with it. And that's why I wanted to do something that was a little more on the personal, because you're right. Podcasting is definitely built for more of a personalized setup. And that's something that I've really enjoyed so far, is being able to have those sit down conversations. And I'm going to leave the whole covering the events thing to the professionals, the dynamic duo, the Wonder Twins.
You can cover as many of the events as you want to, but you started talking about that a little bit. People's origin stories. We have a little bit of time. What is your origin story into bearding? What got you into this community? Because you used to be like in the vape community, right? And then you kind of intermingled the two, and now you're within the beard community now. What got you started?
So you talk about my origins from the vape community. I actually worked in the vape industry for about 7 years. Owned my own company at one time. Traveled the country, helping people set up their stores, doing trade shows, and selling product. And that was all well and good for the time being. And that's right towards the end of my time in the vape community. I started getting involved in the bearded community, and it was mainly just I had been growing a beard, and I had all these people come by every time I go to the barbershop or I go out. Somebody like, "Oh my God, you have a great beard, you have a great mustache," and they're like, and then my barber was asking me. He said, "Have you joined a beard club yet?" And I said, "What's a beard club?"
Right.
So, and it's funny. I actually get that question now, and now it makes me chuckle because I think back to when I first came in.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I was like, I had no idea what a beard club is, and he said, "Well, you need to talk to a couple of people." Driz Beard and Loathing was one of the first people that I actually knew in a beard club. Mr. Brian M. Furby was one of the first people that really gave me a more of an in-depth look at what the bearded community was doing at the time. But I kind of started exploring, kind of looked online to check out what beard clubs were. Of course, found Whisker Wars. Me and Aaron, you've had that conversation.
Absolutely.
And
I think a lot of
check
people,
that out.
That's the beginning of a lot of people's origin story is the amazing documentary of Whisker Wars.
Absolutely. I think the question quickly followed by, why is a girl recruiting for a beard club? That would be interesting. So, but so I started kind of exploring around, and I checked out a few different comps and whatnot, and it was actually Beard and Loathing's annual comp was the first competition that I ever went to.
What year was that?
I want to say that was 20. Correct me if I'm wrong. When was Beards Behind Bars 2? Do either one of y'all remember? That was Beards of the Old Northwest. I think that put that comp on.
17, 18?
I want to say it was
17.
I want to say
18.
it was 17 or 18. So I joined about 6 months before that comp.
Okay.
Started getting into the community. So not good with the dates. My wife will probably yell at me here in a minute and tell me 2018. See, she's got my back. So, and that was, but I went down to the Beard and Loathing comp, and I was meeting up with Mad Viking Kentucky at the time, and I ended up sitting down for almost 2 hours talking to Patrick, and that was kind of how I made my decision. Like he treated me like he knew me forever. And by the time we left, I felt like he was my best friend. And I came home, looked at my wife, and I was like, I just met this really cool, big bearded guy, and I think I'm joining this club now.
So I could go back and be like, dude, that's exactly the same story I had. I met a cool, big bearded guy, and I think I'm joining a bearded club now.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of people's stories.
It really is. I'm a little cookie cutter on that level, but thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you.
So, it was a lot of fun though, and it opened a whole different world to me, but it was my time in the vape industry and in that community that really kind of I draw a lot of parallels between the two, because in the vape world at the time there was different teams for different sponsored people. There was, like little cliques, so to speak. And then, so transferring that over to the bearded community, we have clubs. And I did belong to a team in the vape community. I was a sponsored member and a sales rep for a company, but I wanted to, thanks guys.
The little clicks. Little clicks.
The little clicks.
Little clicks, yep.
But I wanted, I wanted to show everybody proper respect and love and attention when I came over here. I wanted to do something different than what we did in the vape community, and that was where the first kind of, I guess, the birth of the idea of the show came from. Was I saw this community, like, as no matter what club you were a part of or whatnot, you guys come together and we would work together and we would do great things for our communities. I was like, we should really embrace that and hold on to what we have. So the clicking kind of got me off base there. Thanks, Aaron.
You're good.
No, so okay, so now tying this kind of into current times and what you're currently working on, like what projects are you currently working on right now, like event wise and stuff like that?
So right now, we are currently in the month of October, which is Monsters Ball for Mad Viking. We have done what we're calling Monstober, and it is a month that's dedicated to the lead up to Monsters Ball. We started with Michael Wallage as our first episode to kind of kick it off. We had Brian Tyler on last week, who is the vice president for the international board at Mad Viking. I have Brandon Barnes, aka Crafts, who is the Pennsylvania president of the Mad Viking Club on this week. And next week, I've got a special episode on Friday that with Brian Tyler and Scott Handy.
Nice.
To go over the Pennsylvania Children's Hospital, the whole project, why Monsters Ball is so important for Mad Viking. And then I'm also working on a separate project called the Mad Love Project. And this one is going to be a little more club focused to start. Never heard of him.
Yeah. Brian Tyler.
I was thinking it, but you just kept saying his name over and over.
I know. I was going to say
I was wondering if I was going to get kicked off the show for a brief moment just because, that is y'all's category.
We love Brian, so it's okay.
We love him. If he's you know what? We love him.
He's absolutely amazing, and I love the Bearding for Autism program, and I hope to do some work with them in the future. So I've got that episode coming, but I'm like I say, the Mad Love Project is going to be a little more club focused to start, and it's going to be centering around the Mad Viking Club community, the chapters. Basically, kind of a sit down episode, and all of us in the same room and explaining what Mad Love means to us and what we do with our communities and what we could do to be better.
That's a really cool concept and idea. That's one of the things that I've always wanted to do. And I've brought my equipment to events. I've always wanted to do like a round table sit down with a bunch of guys and just talk about a topic and stuff like that. I always thought that would be a really cool idea. So,
and I'm glad that we both are on the same wavelength on that. And I actually have to thank Corey Wilson. She's the one who kind of brought a little bit to me.
A little bit to you. A little bit of what do you think he was going to say? Are we there,
guys?
Oh, there we go.
Oh, he's back.
Okay.
All right. Brought a little bit of what to you? So
Corey brought this idea to me that she was getting approached by people, not necessarily from our club, but from different clubs or in people all around the community that were going to competitions and not feeling like they contributed. They would say, well, what's the point if I'm not going to place? These are the same people that place every time. And she would tell them that it doesn't matter whether you place in the competition, you're still contributing. Everything that you put in to go to the competition, whether it be, just doing the raffles or you're going out and competing, you may not place. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you contributed to the success of that competition. And it spurred the idea that maybe some people kind of get wrapped up in the competition side and forget about why we're really there.
Yeah.
And so the Mad Love Project is a way for us to express why we do the competitions, why we get out and we travel. Yes, we want to win, obviously, because we're competing. You can't say that you don't want to win when you compete. That's just human nature. But at the end of the day, whether you win or you lose, I didn't win at all at Big Whisker Revival, but I am super excited that we raised over $10,000 for the Barracks Project.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good feeling no matter what. It goes bigger than just being a competition thing. It's a charity thing as well.
Absolutely. And so that's what the Mad Love Project is really going to do, is it's going to kind of be our story about why we get out and why we travel and why we are willing to put our money forth and do the competitions, whether we win or lose. It's literally just there to do to help raise money for that charity that we're supporting and showing camaraderie.
Well, Ray,
I like this comment here. Eric Berger writes, I want to do something eventually that makes someone want to hear my origin story. And I just, all I can think of is he put cheese on it. And what else do you need to know?
Right. I mean, Eric's Burger, I mean, he put cheese on it, turned it to a cheeseburger, and that's pretty legendary to me.
That is a great story.
The origin story.
I'm 100% here for that. So,
well, Ray, we appreciate you. We've pretty well run out of time here, and we could just keep chatting with you and keep going and going. But we love everything that you've brought to the table and everything about Bearding Without Borders, not to be confused with that other show. But yeah, Ray, thank you for coming by, dude. We greatly appreciate it. And the biggest thing that me and Scott can both tell you, and I think I can speak for him, is just don't burn yourself out. Like, don't do too much and burn yourself out. Pace yourself.
That is our biggest tip for you, because we've seen it 100 times with everyone who gets
about this in person.
Yeah. I mean, there's been so many shows that were started that were the guys that were super ambitious and got super involved, and
just because you have 15 ideas doesn't mean you need to execute all 15 at the same time. So
and you're absolutely right. And and I appreciate that, because that's what I'm trying to do, is kind of limit myself on what I'm putting out there. So
oh, believe you me, man, just keep in touch. I'll send you my number, and we'll keep in touch.
It's official now.
Yeah, it's official. We're dating. But I'll keep you in check, dude. I seriously, like I said, I'm willing to help, and I will keep you in check and try to keep you straight and narrow and focused. And and if you ever are struggling or having issues, just always feel free to reach out to us. We're here for you.
And I appreciate it. And I just want to say thank you guys for having me on. It's a big honor. I was really kind of thrown when Aaron came to me earlier, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing tonight?" But
this is what you did tonight, and you did a great job.
Absolutely.
Right?
So I thank you guys for having me on. If you guys ever want to come on to my show, we'll set up a time.
We will be there one day. I promise.
Ian feels special. So
there you go. All right. Well, thank you, Ray. And the show is Bearding Without Borders. It's 7:00 on Thursday nights on the Bearding Without Borders Facebook page. Thank you, Ray.
Have a good night, guys.